so many people out there that have such great ideas, great callings, and great passions in their life, but they are too afraid to step outside of their comfort zones, to let go of those labels that they have been living under all this time, and to start living in the truth. I'm Rick Roberts, and this is RickRobertsLife The Podcast, where we talk about my faith, my thoughts, my life. And today is Motivation Monday, and it's time to stop hiding in your fear and to start living in the truth. Now, how do we do this? The way that we stop hiding in our fear and start living in the truth is by understanding what the truth is. You have been given a calling. You have been given a purpose. You know that there's something that you want to do. Because of the labels, because of past experiences, you have developed fear of stepping out into the light to do this new thing that you want to do. You might have had a bad track record in the past. You might have said certain things you wanted to achieve and fell flat on your face. And now as you talk about doing this new thing, people look at you like, seriously, come on. And I want you to realize that when you talk and you don't fulfill, it takes away from your credibility. And we have to accept that some people will find us less credible. Even though your credibility might have been shot with those people, you can choose to either live in the fear of not being good enough, or you can choose to say, you know what, that's who I used to be, and I'm no longer who I used to be. I am a new person. I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm stronger, and I'm going to see this through. You then have to be willing to live and die by this new commitment. You have to be willing to stand strong and to continue to be diligent. Even though the passion may fade away, even though the glitz and glamour may fade away, you must choose to be diligent and must choose to forge forward. You see, when you don't follow through, when you don't see through what you say you're going to do, people will not believe you as much as they did because they say that you're not serious. And so we cannot be caught up on that. It is now our job to just put our head down and to focus on hitting that target, to focus on getting those results, because we're not getting these results for them. This is a passion of ours. We saw this as something that's worth doing, and so we must stand strong and do it. And that's something I believe you can do. You are strong enough to do this, but you have to stop looking at your fear, and you have to pay attention to the truth. The truth is, this is important to you. The truth is, you are capable of finding the right resources to get this done. The truth is, if you choose to buckle down and you choose to persevere, in time, you will get there. You will get something that is on your heart, that is in the vision, and it will be amazing. But you have to work it. You have to diligently work it. You have to find different angles to go about it. And you have to be willing to stop living in your fear and to stand in the truth. You have to put the work in. And you have to look at the truth of what the work is. You know, a lot of times we step out and we think we're going to do something. And we get halfway through and realize that it's so much harder than we thought it was going to be. And you say, oh, I don't know if it's worth doing this. If it's truly important to you, you have to be willing to see it through. You see, when you live in fear, you're not moving confidently. Now, what does that mean? It means that the way that you move is a bit timid. It's a little bit unsure. There's no real strength in how you move. You're just fearful. And because you're fearful, it's taking away from the strength and the power that's inside of you. And so that's why it's so important to realize that you have to live in the truth. You have not been given a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. And so you have to live in that. You have to stand in that. And you have to look to honor your commitment with power, strength, love, and a sound mind. A lot of people in this day and age will look at their commitments and they'll say, oh, well, it doesn't feel good. And because it doesn't feel good, I'm done. I'm not going to put any effort into it. I'm not going to invest myself into it because I don't feel like it. This is not where we're supposed to be. The commitments that we make, when we make them, there's a lot of gray area. There's a lot of blindness as to what can come into the picture. And so you don't make a commitment based on feelings. You make a commitment based on principle, because there's going to be things that you just cannot control. But the thing that you can control consistently is yourself. And so as you understand that you can't control your partners, you can't control the environment, you can't control the buildings, you can control how you're going to respond to whatever comes your way. And when it doesn't feel good, when the snow is high, when the heat is hot, when the rain is heavy, when it just feels so unbearable and the elements come into your life, you have to stand strong, because you're going to have that voice of fear whispering to you. You're not good enough. You're not strong enough. This is too much. You can't do this. Everyone else quit. Why don't you just quit too? Why? You deserve to be happy. Why are you doing this to yourself? And the commitment must be stronger than that voice, because that voice can sound so appealing. Oh, why would you want to get out of bed today? Just stay in bed a little bit longer. Why do you want to read that book today? Just watch TV a bit longer. Stay on your phone a little bit longer. Just put it off, put it off, put it off. And as you hear this, that voice sounds so appealing that you just want to just do it. But every time you submit to that voice, you step further and further into the shadows. And it makes it so much harder for you to believe in yourself, because you saw that you compromised on your commitment. And so as you lose trust and you lose credibility with yourself, as you see that credibility is lost with other people, you start to feel even more in the shadows of your fear. You see, as long as you are hiding in the shadows, hiding behind your fear, it's easy for you to blame everyone else and to be the victim. But when you start to live in the truth and you're honest about what it is that you're doing, about what it is that you have done to honor this commitment, you then will see that you are no longer a victim. You are in more control than you realize, and that God has empowered you to be able to do the work that He has given you. I know it's difficult. I know it's intimidating, because you might look at yourself and say, I don't have the education. I don't have the resources. I just don't see myself quite there. But I believe this is where I need to be. It's too much for me. Here's the thing. We don't talk enough about the learning curve this day and age. Every new thing that you have to do that's important has a learning curve. You're not going to be good at it at first. And in fact, as you try it and you find that you mess up, depending on your upbringing, depending on how you perceive things, you might feel as though you are a failure because you're not getting it right. You're not getting it perfectly. You're not doing it like a professional. And so you feel as though you're a fraud and you're just embarrassing yourself. Here's the thing. The learning curve is so important because you have to get the experience of what it takes to be good. In order to get the experience of what it takes to be good, you have to also go through a period of growing, being bad at it, knowing how to fall 10 times and get up 12. Yeah, I added an next one in there. You have to know what it takes to be making these mistakes, because you're going to get to a point where you're so good that people are going to ask you to show them how to be like you, how to do what you did, how to overcome. And if you don't know what this person's going through, you can't teach them in a way that they can relate to. And so this is all part of the journey. This is all part of the process. And so if you're messing up, if you feel like you keep, failing time and time again, it's part of the process. Don't stay down. Get up and realize that you have to grow so that way when you are fantastic at this, you can then teach someone else how to overcome because you too have overcome. It's interesting. In the Bible, it says that Jesus had overcome every single temptation that we were going to be faced with. And it says that, and I believe the reason why that's in there is so that way we can relate to a God who has come down, lived on this world, was tempted the same way that we were tempted, but he overcame. And because he overcame, we too can overcome. And I say this so that way you can see that you have to go through this difficulty so you can overcome and share this with somebody else. And I want to talk to you because I know that there's some people out there, there's someone out there listening to me right now who has done this. You kept starting something and kept quitting and starting and quitting and starting and quitting instead of persevering. And so people say, oh, yeah, he's talking. Yeah, she's talking. They're wasting their breath. I'm not even listening anymore. And this is now going to end because you are able to hold true to your commitment the best that you can, to say enough is enough. I'm going to do what I have to do to stand in the truth. The truth is, if I put the work in, I stand a very good fighting chance of succeeding. But I have to be real and true to myself. Am I reading the books? Am I putting in the hours? Am I putting my focus into what I'm doing? Am I really putting myself into my work? Putting myself into this commitment? Or am I half doing it? Am I just on autopilot and just going through the motions? Because as you go through the motions, and you see that you're not getting the results that you hoped you'd get, you're just building up that shadow of fear even more, that bit of doubt even more by saying, oh, deep down inside I knew it wouldn't work out for me. And look at the results I'm getting. See, it wouldn't work out. It didn't work out. There's no point in continuing. When the truth of the matter is, deep down inside, between you and me, you know that you didn't really put 100% into it. You didn't really pour your best into it. You did stop short instead of going the full distance. And I say this to you today to hopefully hold this mirror of truth up to you so you can see that you are capable. So you can see that you can do this. And so you can see that you have been living in the shadows of fear for far too long. And it's now your time to step up and to stand strong. You can do this. Give it your best go and stop being fearful. Stop being too afraid to try and to really try to honor your commitment. You can do this. It's going to hurt. It's going to feel miserable at times. It's going to feel messy. It's going to feel overwhelming. But as long as you keep creeping forward, little bit by little bit, you will get there. And if for some reason it doesn't work out, if the worst does happen, at least you can say you gave it everything you had. You can leave it all out there and know that you were true and you were real with yourself and you have no regrets. You were honorable in your commitment. You were true to your commitment. You stood in the light and you did what you knew was right to do. And it fell because of something else and not because of you. I share this lesson with you because this is something I'm learning myself. This is something that I'm doing myself. This is something that I am working on myself. And so you're not alone. I'm there with you too. And we can stand strong together. Keep your head up and keep moving forward. I'm Rick Roberts, and you stay classy. Bye.